Hey on guys, this is Yix here of Madden Crypto and welcome back to another video. So today's video is on Ripple's Internet of Value and the US government sending out their round of stimulus packages. So they've already sent out a first round of stimulus packages and there's already been a load of memes, funny memes of people spending their $1,200 on Gucci and Fendi and all these things. But today's video I wanted to talk about, well, potentially there could be a second round of stimulus packages going out, and how could Ripple's Internet of Value, their vision, aid in basically distribution of this. So first, let's start by going over what their vision is, Ripple's vision of the Internet of Value. So I'm on their website, ripple.com, and they've clearly got to state it here. And their vision is for value to be exchanged as quickly as information. Although information moves around the world instantly, a single payment from one country to another is slow, expensive, and unreliable. In the US, a typical international payment takes 3 to 5 days to settle, has an error rate of at least 5%, and an average cost of $42. Worldwide, there are $180 trillion worth of cross-border payments made every year, with a combined cost of more than $1.7 trillion a year. With the Internet of Value transactions such as foreign currency payment can happen instantly, just as how people have been sharing words, images, and videos online for decades. And it's not just money. The Internet of Value will enable the exchange of any asset that is of value to someone, including stocks, votes, frequent flyer points, securities, intellectual property, music, scientific discoveries, and more. Basically, a lot of things can be shared instantly. So Ripple's vision, just to break it down, is, as I said, just to be able to send value, anything of value, online instantly, just like information. Now we are very far from that vision, although Ripple has been making headway in that. I'm just talking globally, on a world level, we haven't really reached that. But Ripple, as I said, have been making headway in that. Now, what have they done so far? First and foremost, they invented a very, very, very useful protocol to aid this Internet of Value. So let me just go into that quickly. And firstly, it's a direct comparison to what has been used in the architecture of the internet. And that is a communication protocol standard called TCP/IP. Now, for those of you that are not tech savvy, like myself, let me just go over what that is. So TCP/IP, found a little description. So just like people, it's important for computers to have a common way to communicate with each other. Today, most computers do this through TCP/IP, and it's typically built into computers and largely automated. Yeah, but it can be useful to understand the model, particularly when you're setting up a computer or other systems. TCP/IP is a set of standardized rules that allow computers to communicate on a network such as the internet. So it allows computers to communicate on a network. So basically it allows networks to communicate with each other as well, computers to communicate on different networks. So whatever network you're on or that person's on, if they're all using this standard, they can communicate with each other. And that's exactly what Ripple have done when it comes to value exchange, like things like exchanging money, which is obviously value online. They created something called the Interledger protocol, which does exactly the same thing. It allows different payment systems to communicate with each other. So like it allows banks, as it says, banks, blockchain, mobile money, digital wallets, allows them all to communicate with this set of standard rules. So it's a very, very, very massive invention that they made. So massive that even the World Wide Web Consortium, W3, have adopted it as part of their kind of, protocols. If a body like this has taken on something that Ripple's invented, it just shows you how, big of an invention that was, or that is. And again, just to kind of take it one step further, people, certain companies have actually adopted it already. And one of those companies, which is a huge organization or a huge corporation in the world, very recognizable, is none other than Apple. So Apple Pay introduced Interledger API for Apple Pay payments. So this has allowed them to basically, use their devices to pay for different things, and they use the Interledger API to do so. So that just tells you how, if Apple recognized what useful invention that is, then it just tells you, this is just the beginning. So that is their kind of vision of the internet value and how much progress they've made to make this a realization. So it's very much, it's happening. It's actually working. So going back to the original kind of my original question, which is, can it aid in basically the stimulus package? The answer is yes. However, it won't happen now. It will take some time to really implement it on a global level for all companies to implement something like the Interledger protocol, and thus to, for the internet value to really come into realization, and for everyone to kind of transfer value instantly, just like information. But this article that I picked up regarding the second round of stimulus checks, so they're talking about a faster way of it reaching. So now all these tech giants have, obviously they see this as a massive opportunity to push their technology forward, saying, we have the means to get this to the consumers the fastest, and they've all been competing. But what if they all competed on a level playing field using something called what I've explained, IRP? Then they wouldn't be competing about just, the actual action of getting the money to the consumers. It would be about how fast they can, send it to them. Because, the same way TCP/IP has allowed internet providers to compete on speed rather than, getting the information to them, which is, the internet just getting information to the people, they're now competing on how fast they can do this and how much of a quality service they can provide, as opposed to actually getting the information to them. So as you can see, all these companies, PayPal, through its Venmo app, Square's Cash App, New Digital Bank, Simple, Chime, all these other Visas and MasterCards, all of them are competing to do this, to get the money to them. But with internet value, again, it'd be a case of how fast can they send it to the people rather than can they actually accomplish the mission. So that's, it's still somewhat early days. They've made a lot of progress. Ripple with internet value, they've definitely started to actually get to work with it. Obviously their cross-border payment solution ODL it's already being used by the likes of MoneyGram, so it's already being used. But to get it to a global level where everyone is doing it, everyone is sending value instantly, just like information, and that's going to take a while to get to that point. So I think in future, the internet of value will definitely aid in situations like this, where the government needs to get stimulus packages or whatever to the people as fast as possible. And even Trump was talking about this in one of his late night shows that he likes to do nowadays. He's been speaking about how the systems that they're using now are old and archaic, and they need to get to a system where it's fast and instant. And he's basically describing the internet value, where you can send value instantly to anyone. So yeah, so that'll be all for today. I hope you got some value from that, and you learned a little bit about the internet of value and how that could really aid economies in the future when it comes to these situations. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel and like this video, and peace out. Ciao.